This is Chris with Eagles. Like, subscribe to TNT Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, World of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris with Eagles, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. And I'll be down there in the description box, and I'm here to do my AEW Dynamite October 5th, 2022 reviews. So here we go with Dynamite. So yeah, we kick off the show with MJF versus Will Yuda. Now, William Regal was on commentary for this match, and this match, it was a really good match. It was a back and forth match. MJF tried to escape from Will Yuda a few times, like rolling away every time when Will Yuda got on the turnbuckle. They tried to roll up each other multiple times. There was one cool moment when we see MJF hit a powerbomb onto Will Yuda, onto one of his knees, which looked pretty brutal. But then we get to the very ending at one point where like Will Yuda almost won, where he climbed up the top turnbuckle. MJF rolls away, flicks him off, and then Will Yuda still jumps off with a splash, pins him, but he barely kicks out at 2. But then Will Yuda was trying to lock on that pin, the seatbelt pin or whatever, onto MJF, but MJF reverses it, locking on the salt of the earth, and then Will Yuda was getting close to the ropes, and he pulls him right back in the middle of the ring, locks it back on, making Will Yuda tap out. So yeah, MJF defeated Will Yuda tonight on Dynamite. That's what happened. But then after the match ended, it looked like Will Yuda was going to shake MJF's hand, but then he gets attacked from behind by Lee Moriarty, getting beat down and stuff, and MJF gets pissed off, talking about, "I never told you to do that." And then we see Stokely Hathaway on the ring apron, give it MJF the diamond ring, and then MJF pretty much didn't want to do it at all. Lee Moriarty done picked up Will Yuda, so MJF can hit him, but then William Regal comes walking down, puts on brass knuckles, waiting for MJF to do something, and MJF walks away. So yeah, that's what happened there, but it was still a pretty good match between Will Yuda and MJF. For that match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's why I'll give it. Really good match to kick off Dynamite. And then backstage, we see the Jericho Appreciation Society get an interview talking about, Daniel Garcia was once family, but tonight they'll beat the living hell out of him and all that stuff. And we see Jake Hager wearing the hat that Jericho gave him and all that stuff. And he says that Jericho said not only he's going to go beat the hell out of Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson tonight, he's going to go defend the ROH world title and retain it and stuff. So yeah, that's what he said. But up next, we're going to be seeing Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin one-on-one up next. That match will be happening up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal one-on-one. Now, Jay Lethal does not got Sanjay Dutt or Satnam Singh with him. Both of them stayed in the backstage area for this match. And this match was a really good one. At one point, we seen Jay Lethal try to hit lethal injection onto Darby Allin. Darby Allin ducked him. Jay Lethal went flying over him, and then that's when Darby Allin hits Code Red onto him, pins him. But then Jay Lethal barely kicking out at 2, and both of them was going back and forth with some pins. But then at one point, we seen Darby finally taking control of this match. Darby was about to climb up the top turnbuckle to hit the coffin drop onto Jay Lethal, but then he spots Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt on the stage, distracting him, and then Jay Lethal knocks him off the turnbuckle, and then he notices them on the stage, and Lethal was getting pissed off, and then that's when Darby Allin takes place. And then Darby Allin locks on that, I forgot what you call that pin, but it was like he was going to do like a sharpshooter into the pin, and then he calls it the suburbs. That's what he calls it. The suburbs. That's what he calls the pin. And he pinned him for the 3 count. So yeah, Darby Allin defeated Jay Lethal tonight on Dynamite. That's what happened for that match. I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give. Then after the match ended, Darby Allin was trying to shake Jay Lethal's hand, and Lethal didn't want to shake his hand until Darby Allin pushes him, and both of them shakes hands, and Jay Lethal walks off. So yeah, that's what happened there. Like I said, pretty good match. And then after that, we see a video package of Brian Cage in Ring of Honor or whatever, and he had Prince Nana with him and all that stuff, and he's talking about how he's going to take away the TNT Championship away from Warlow. So yeah, up next we're going to be seeing Warlow versus Brian Cage one-on-one for the TNT Championship. That match will be happening up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was a TNT champion Warlow versus Brian Cage with Prince Nana at ringside, and it was for the TNT Championship. Now, this is the first time since we've seen Brian Cage in like freaking forever, I swear to God. It feels like a whole year, which it probably has been, I don't know. But yeah, it's been forever, but apparently he's been in Ring of Honor, which I haven't been watching Ring of Honor. I don't even think it comes on TV. Tell you the truth, like, I don't know. But yeah, that's where they say he was at. He got his group and all that stuff, and yeah. But he's in the TNT Championship match, which don't even make sense to begin with, how he gets a title match already. But other than that, it's still a pretty good match. It was going back and forth. Brian Cage was doing pretty good. Warlow was doing great as well, as always. But then we get to the very ending, where we see Warlow starts laying in those power bombs, laying in 4 of them onto Brian Cage, and then pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Warlow defeated Brian Cage tonight on Dynamite, and he has retained the TNT Championship. That's what happened. Very good match between those two guys. For that match, I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. But yeah, really good match. But then after the match ended, we see Brian Cage's people come in, attacking Warlow from behind, beating him down and stuff. And then Samoa Joe comes running down to help out. He was helping out for a little bit, but of course the numbers caught up to him as well. They was beating him down as well. And then we see Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR come down and, handling it. So yeah, but everybody else got out of the ring. So yeah, that's what happened there, and it was pretty good stuff. But up next, we're going to be seeing the women in action up next, and later on tonight in the main event, we will see Bryan Danielson teaming up with Daniel Garcia versus Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara later on tonight in the tag team match. So yeah, that match will still be happening later on tonight. So yeah, see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, we see backstage where Britt Baker was standing at, and she said that that Saraya is not able to compete because of the injury from a few years back, and she's still not in ring. She cannot compete in the ring and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what Britt Baker said. But then we get the match underway. It was the interim AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm, Athena, and Willow Nightingale with Saraya at ringside versus Jamie Hayter, Serena Deeb, and Penelope Ford with Rebel and Britt Baker at ringside. So yeah, it was a 6 women's tag team match, and this match, it was a pretty good match. Everybody getting their moves in. At the ending of this match, we seen Willow Nightingale, that was a legal woman in this match, and Penelope Ford was the one that got tagged in, and then we see everybody interfering in this match at one point. We did see Rebel grabbing a crutch, about to smack Willow in the head with it, but then Saraya grabs the crutch out of her hands and chases him off. So yeah, that's what happened there, and then after that, we see everybody interfering. At one point, we seen Penelope Ford taking out Willow Nightingale, and then Athena comes in the ring, which she lifts her up into like a code breaker, which was really nice. But then she gets hit with the spear by Serena Deeb, and then Toni Storm comes in with a super kick onto her, and then Jamie Hayter comes in taking out Toni Storm, and then we see Willow Nightingale hitting the super kick onto Jamie Hayter, taking her out, and then Penelope Ford was trying to hit the cutter onto Willow Nightingale, almost getting the 3 count, but Willow barely kicking out at 2. And then she goes and springboard off the ropes or whatever. She gets hit with the drop kick, and then Willow Nightingale hits a sit-out powerbomb onto her, pinning her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Toni Storm, Athena, and Willow Nightingale defeated Jamie Hayter, Serena Deeb, and Penelope Ford tonight in the 6 women's tag team match. That's what happened for that match. I'll give it 2 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good tag team match, though. But then after the match ended, we see, actually I'll give it 2.5 stars, but then after the match ended, we see Saraya celebrating with them in the ring. Britt Baker gets in the ring, pushing Saraya, but then both of them starts brawling, and then everybody else was brawling. So yeah, it looks like Saraya's possibly good to compete in the ring, it looks like. So yeah, everybody was brawling, and Saraya kicked Rebel in the face as well. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then backstage, we see Private Party and Roosh and Jose with them backstage. And Jose pretty much was showing some clips of Private Party not helping out Roosh or whatever. Now, Andrade is not back there because situations with him and Sammy Guevara and stuff going down backstage. You got to stay home. So, yeah, he's not back there backstage. But, yeah, that's what's going on back there with Private Party and them. And Jose was like, look, I know that Matt Hardy keeps on interfering in the contract, so we will take you to court if this keeps happening. So yeah, that's what he said. But up next, we're going to be seeing the Acclaim up next. So yeah, that'll be happening up next. But yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite, now we get the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, the Acclaim, and Billy Gunn with them inside the ring, and they got like a podium and stuff, and they started talking about how their t-shirts are the one selling t-shirt in AEW now, and the Acclaim is over as hell. Like, everybody was just going for the Acclaim, but just way over. It's pretty good. But yeah, pretty good segment. Like I said, Anthony Bowens was talking about how he knows a few things about getting scissored and stuff like that. So yeah, we see Max Caster. He starts talking about how his father was in the Super Bowl and got the championship team and all that stuff. So yeah, he was saying that, and Billy Gunn was saying some stuff as well, and it was a pretty good segment. But then they get interrupted by Swerve Strickland, and Swerve comes out and he says, well, just know, if it wasn't for Billy Gunn, y'all wouldn't be AEW World Tag Team Champions. Me and Keith Lee would. But then he says that he challenges Billy Gunn in a match next week on Dynamite. But then, after he said that, Smart Mark Sterling comes out and he says, I don't even like you, Swerve, and then walks into the ring. Somebody gets some stuff to say to the Acclaim, and he has some papers, and he starts talking to the Acclaim, talking about like the only way that y'all could win is y'all have me at ringside, because obviously y'all can't win all by yourselves and all that stuff. And then he says, I want the Acclaim to scissor me and stuff. So yeah, that's what Smart Mark Sterling said. And then the Acclaim just beats him down, and they hit the scissor me timbers onto Smart Mark Sterling. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment though, but yeah. But up next, we're going to be seeing Roosh versus Hangman Adam Page up next on Dynamite. So yeah, that match will be happening up next. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite was a one-on-one match. It was Roosh with Jose at ringside versus Hangman Adam Page in a one-on-one match. And this match was a pretty good match. At one point, it looked like Roosh was going to win this match, where we see Hangman try to hit the buckshot lariat, but then Jose comes up and Hangman had to kick him away, and then all of a sudden, that's when he jumps over the top rope, and Roosh hits a jumping knee to the face onto him, and then hits a straight jacket power driver onto Hangman Adam Page, pins him, but Page barely kicking out at 2, and then Roosh sets him up in the corner, about to hit the double knees to the face or whatever, but then Page quickly got up, hitting a vicious clothesline onto him, going on the apron, jumping over with the buckshot lariat onto Roosh, and then pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Hangman Adam Page defeated Roosh tonight on Dynamite. That's what happened. But then after the match ended, we see Private Party get on the apron and stuff, because they gotta listen to Jose. But then all of a sudden, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley comes walking out. Private Party and all them runs off. But then he gets in the ring with Adam Page, talking to him, talking about how on October 14th or whatever, that he will be facing Adam Page for the world title in Ohio and stuff. So yeah, that's what he was saying. He said he grew up in Ohio and all that stuff. He said he's going to walk out as world champion and be prepared and all that. And then he gets out the ring, about to walk away, and then Adam Page was like, hold up, where the hell you think you're going? And then Jon Moxley gets in the ring and he starts talking. And then apparently he starts cussing a little bit, but, they blurred it out and stuff, which is annoying as hell at this point. And he says that, you're going to respect me and all that. And, you ain't going to never disrespect me like that after I beat you in a few weeks. So, yeah, that's what Jon Moxley said. But, yeah, pretty good stuff. For that match with Adam Page and Rush, I'll give it 3 stars as well. I'll give it pretty good stuff. But up next, we're going to be seeing Luchasaurus in action up next. So, yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, now before I talk about Luchasaurus match, there's a few things I gotta talk about, like this one interview happened before Adam Page's match, actually, where we see Ty Conti and them now, we've seen Sky Blue and Madison Rain talking, and then all of a sudden, that's when Ty Conti and Anna Jay talk about entertainers and all that stuff instead of wrestlers. And they all 4 got tag team match at Rampage. So yeah, that match is now set up. And then there was another match they got set up where we see Willow Nightingale backstage, and she says that she challenges Jade Cargill for the TBS Women's Championship. And then we see Jade Cargill and the baddies come up, and he was talking about how, you don't got a chance or anything. She will be 39-0. Then Willow Nightingale said, no, she ain't going to be 39-0. She's going to be 38-1 once I beat her. So, yeah, that's what she said. But then we get to the match. It was Luchasaurus with Christian Cage versus Fuego del Sol 1-on-1. And it was, quick as hell. Fuego got hit with the choke slam, and then gets hit with Luchasaurus finisher move, which I forgot what it's called. And then he pinned him for the 3 count. So, yeah, Luchasaurus defeated Fuego del Sol tonight on Dynamite. That's what happened. I'll give that match a half of a star. But then after the match ended, Luchasaurus starts attacking Fuego at the end of the match, and then Jungle Boy comes down hitting Luchasaurus in the stomach with the steel chair, and Luchasaurus and Christian Cage quickly got out of the ring. And then Jungle Boy challenges Luchasaurus to a match, and Christian Cage was like, okay, we accept, but it ain't gonna be tonight. It'll be next week in Toronto. So yeah, that's what he said. Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus next week. But yeah, up next we're going to be seeing the main event, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia up next in the tag team match. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was the main event. It was Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia in a tag team match. And this tag team match, it was a pretty good match. It was the main event and all that. At the ending of this match, we seen Bryan Danielson getting taken out because he got hit with a suplex through a table by Chris Jericho at the timekeeper's area. And then only left Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. Now, Sammy Guevara did hit the GTH onto Daniel Garcia like he could end it all, and then he starts laying in some shots, beating him in the head and stuff after that move. And then he climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off with the shooting star press, but then Daniel puts his knees up with Sammy landing on him. And then Daniel Garcia locks on the sharpshooter, trying to make Sammy Guevara tap out, but while the referee was looking at Sammy Guevara, waiting for him to tap out or whatever, that's when Chris Jericho grabbed the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship and hit Daniel Garcia upside the head, breaking up the submission hole, and that's when Sammy Guevara pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara defeated Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia tonight in the tag team match. That's what happened. Pretty good match, like I said, for that match. I'll give it 3. I'll give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. But yeah, that's what happened there. And match of the night, I gotta say, was probably MJF and Will Yuda. That match was really good. But some matches was pretty good, and some of the segments was pretty good. But I'm not gonna lie, this did not feel like the anniversary show for Dynamite. Like, it really didn't. It felt to me it kind of dragged on a little bit, like this episode did. So it felt like a normal episode in 2022 and stuff, like a regular Dynamite episode instead of like an anniversary show, which should be a little bit more bigger. But yeah, that's what happened there, and that was Dynamite for tonight's AEW Dynamite. I'll give it 7 stars. That's why I'll give it 7 out of 10 stars. So yeah, like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, World of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. I'll be down there in the description box. And yeah, I will see you guys later for this Friday Night SmackDown reviews and this Saturday's Extreme Rules reviews. And I'll be talking about Extreme Rules tomorrow as well as for my predictions. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then.